How's it going, everybody? I'm meteorologist Joe Cognos back with your daily forecast. Today we have another severe risk out in Texas today. Hail is the main threat for today in parts of central Texas. And then for tomorrow, our focus shifts out towards the Midwest, where there looks to be a pretty decent severe risk out there for a good chunk of the Midwest, mainly in Minnesota. All hazards going to be possible with that. We'll look into that for in a little bit here. And then we're continuing those daily low-end severe risks throughout the end of the week. Except for tomorrow, that may be a little bit higher end, but for the most part, lower end severe risks pretty much daily through the end of this weekend, possibly into the weekend as well. Right now, we have this warm front, cold front kind of sitting right in central Minnesota, pushing out some precipitation towards the northeast there, going into Wisconsin. Just some light rain, scattered thunder showers out there, nothing too big. There could be some thunderstorms that pop up behind this later on in the afternoon, but really expecting things to stay on the lower end up north for today. And then down in Texas, we have this nice mesoscale convective system moving through central Texas, verging on the DFW metro right now, expecting things to stay kind of sub-severe as they move through the DFW metro. Could get some stronger storms popping up kind of around the San Angelo area later on today. So that's what we're looking at for that. And then notice up north we have this nice little trough that's moving through. We'll get a couple of wiggles moving through for tomorrow, kicking off that severe risk out in the Midwest. Not much upper level support for those storms down in Texas today. Just kind of a thermodynamics driven event down in Texas. We get some decent instability, good moisture, good surface heating, and then we just get a little bit of a wave to kind of kick off those storms and give them a little bit of a boost to get them going this afternoon. For looking at the Midwest for today, we'll see some thunderstorms again pop up possibly around the dinner hours, 6 to 7 p.m., your evening commute hours. Not really anything big, possibly getting some isolated corridors out of a few of those showers, but again, expecting them to stay on the lower end. And then some morning convection builds back in pretty quickly around the 7 a.m. time frame before things start to kick off in Minnesota for tomorrow. And then down south in Texas, a few of these cells, especially on the southern end of this MCS here, those could be a little bit stronger as we go into the afternoon. This segment could bow out just a little bit more, producing possibly some stronger wind gusts. And then back behind it, like I said, around San Angelo, that's when we're going to get the larger possible storms. Right around that 4, 5, 6 p.m. time frame, that's when things look like they'll kind of start peaking a little bit before continuing to move off to the southeast, impacting kind of the San Antonio area, possibly with some hail going into Houston before dying out pretty much completely. And then we'll get another kind of resurgence of storms around that 3 to 4 a.m. time frame, but expecting things to kind of be slightly weaker going into the early morning hours for tomorrow after that initial wave. So here's our hail map for today, though. We got up to golf balls possible. I wouldn't be surprised if we see a 2-inch report or so. Abilene, Austin, I forgot to add San Angelo on there. But those are the main areas at risk for today. But expecting mainly to stay rural for most of these storms, at least when they are at their severe level for today. But that's what we have. And then going into tomorrow, the more eventful day that we've had, or a more eventful day that we've had in a decent amount of time here, possibly for Minnesota, the Minneapolis metro area. Looking at around that noon time frame for things start to pick up. Could get some fairly strong thunderstorms forming ahead of this wave that's expecting to move into the Minneapolis metro. Some of these more isolated storms could produce those larger hailstones, expecting possibly up to 2 inches at this point right now. Could be a decent wind event as well, moving through Minneapolis. Could get some hail ahead of that, but by no means is this a very organized system. It's still going to be very messy compared to what we've been seeing throughout the entire month of May. Mostly disorganized storms here, but we could still see some brief spin-ups possibly in terms of tornadoes, some decent hailstorms kind of down by the Albert Lea area. Those could be some fairly strong thunderstorms going into the overnight hours, but that's what we have for tomorrow. And then hail forecast map for tomorrow here. We got Minneapolis, Des Moines, Sioux Falls, La Crosse, all kind of in that bullseye for the larger hail for tomorrow. Minneapolis right on the edge of my tennis ball swath right there, or possible tennis ball swath right there. But Minneapolis, I believe, has the highest risk out of all the major metro areas in the risk area to see some decent severe weather. Similar to the wind forecast, extending that a little bit farther up to the northeast into the Fargo area. We could see some storms form up there as well, kind of along that initial line, just depending on when storms actually start getting going. Omaha could see some storms as well as Des Moines, verging right on the Davenport area. But again, Minneapolis seems to be the target city for the larger storms as they really start to ramp up going into the afternoon. Then for tornado potential, slightly smaller risk area. The most favorable conditions, again, seem to be right around the Minneapolis area. So if you're looking for an area that'll see the largest impacts, my guess would be along kind of the east, or split Minneapolis in half, and then kind of a little bit to the south of that, right along that I-35 corridor up to Minneapolis, in between Albert Lea and Minneapolis. That seems to be where the highest risk for the most significant severe weather is going to be at this point. So we'll definitely be keeping an eye on that as we get into tomorrow. Models get a little bit closer to a better solution, see how things play out with that. So for our jet stream though, we have this nice little trough for tomorrow. We have this little jet streak that's expecting to move through, provide just enough lift and wind shear to get those storms slightly more organized, give them a little bit more lift going into the evening and overnight hours. And then things start to level out a little bit. The severe risk kind of pushes up farther into the Great Lakes region, into Canada, more so for Thursday. And then the jet stream starts to flatten out. We could see a little bit of a boost in severe weather for the central and southern plains going into the weekend with this little wave we have moving through. It's smaller, noticeably weaker than the other waves we had moving through May, but it could be just enough to kick off some severe weather for the central and southern plains if we have enough moisture and if our surface heating is good. But this wave up here in the northwestern U.S. here, this could kick down and cause some severe weather for the central and northern plains. Right now, it seems like the jet stream is shifting quite a bit farther north, bringing more severe weather to the northern and central plains than the southern plains. So it seems like the severe season is starting a little bit earlier for them than it usually does, and kind of slowing down quite a bit earlier than it does for us down here in Oklahoma and Texas. So that's what things are looking like right now for that. Another little wave could kick off into the central plains for early next week. So we'll definitely be keeping an eye on those because we've been kind of waiting on when we'll see our next severe weather, possible severe weather outbreak. But it's not looking like anything super eventful is going to be happening in the near future, except for tomorrow in the Midwest. But going into the precipitation outlook here, 6 to 10 days time frame, Central Plains, northern U.S., all expecting above average precipitation, below average for the East Coast, as well as the Four Corners region. And then again in Florida, they could be seeing some above average precipitation over that 6 to 10 day time frame. I know within the next 5 days they're expecting some very heavy rainfall down in Florida. A few areas expecting over a foot, almost 2 feet of rain within a 48 to 72 hour time frame down there. So it's expecting to be very wet down in Florida right after they just got through some record-breaking heat. So that's something to take note of. Plenty of flood damage possible. Come on, graphic. There we go. But for temperatures, expecting above average temperatures for the entire eastern 2/3 of the country. Those repeating troughs that move over the Pacific Northwest, keeping things slightly cooler than average up there, but above average temperatures for the north, along with above average precipitation chances, the jet stream shifting north, all of those factors kind of align for the severe weather seasons really starting to ramp up for the northern U.S., the Great Lakes region. I expect to see several waves of severe weather out there as we continue through the middle and end of June. Possibly things start to shift back a little bit farther south as we get a little bit more moisture coming in from the Gulf of Mexico. We could see some severe weather again start to ramp up for the south central plains. But we'll have to see how things play out as the long-range models are still kind of all over the place for that. But we'll be sure to keep you updated. If you're interested in learning more about us, go ahead and follow us on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok. Or if you're interested in purchasing a plan, go ahead and scan that QR code up above me. Or you can give us a call at 855-334-4245. Email us at info@hailtrace.com or check out our website at www.hailtrace.com. That's it for now. I'm meteorologist Joey Cragness. Thanks for watching.